Hello, everyone. This is Everything Horror. We love to talk about everything horror. And today we have Jared from Jared Talk Cinema. We are going to be talking about Yellowjackets. This is going to be on my YouTube channel in video form as well as on my podcast channel. You could hear that anywhere you listen to podcasts. Podcast channel is Horror Lives. So that's the Horror Lives podcast, and my YouTube channel is Everything Horror. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's have Jared introduce himself and talk about his channel.
Yeah, hey, what's happening, guys? My name's Jared. My YouTube channel is Jared Talk Cinema, and there I just do movie reviews and whatnot. My channel took a little bit of a break recently, but now I'm back again making videos, which I'm super excited for. And I also have my own podcast that I do with Brad from Let's Be Real with Brad and Trace from Pierce Productions called the Only Film Fans Podcast. So you can find me over there as well.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself, Jared. So the reason I wanted to have you on the podcast is because I really like your channel. I like your views on films. I feel like I agree a lot with what you had to say in regards to films. And I did notice that you hadn't been putting a lot of videos on your channel. So I definitely wanted to have you on here and get to talk to you more in like person,
Hmm,
as personal as we can get. So, and
yeah, appreciate it.
I had seen you comment on Nocturnal Critics. What was it, like a community post or
Yeah,
something like that, right?
yeah, this is a
Saying that,
community tab.
yeah. So he saying that you had watched the show, so that's why I wanted to have you on here and we could discuss, chop it up.
Yeah, I talked to him about that actually because he noticed that as well. And he was like, "Yeah, you're one of the few people who said you watched the show. I'm sure for next season, a lot more people will have seen it though."
Yes, for sure. This seems to be a show that's going to slowly get a following. To me, it seems like it's getting pretty big right now, but probably in the next couple of years, it'll definitely be one of the bigger shows.
Maybe like Lost, because there's been a lot of similarities between
Yeah,
this show and Lost. Yeah.
yeah. I've heard of yeah, I've heard people compare it to Lost as well. So let's go ahead and get this started. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to talk about each episode, just go over, like, recap them, talk about our go over our thoughts on each episode, what really stood out to us, and we'll talk about characters, our favorite parts of the season, things of that nature, and then we'll give our theories for what we think is going to happen next season, and even in the further than that, what we think ultimately where things are going to end up. So first episode. All right. The opening is we're following this girl. She's like barefoot in a nightgown running through the snow in the woods, and she's being chased by these fur covered figures. And she ends up falling into a trap. And it's like one of those traps where they have like sticks that are like carved at the end where they could pierce through someone, and she's like dead in there. And what were your thoughts coming into the show and seeing that initially?
That was one of the most eerie things I've ever seen in a TV show. That kind of threw me through a loop. I'm not gonna lie. All the cannibalism stuff, which we'll talk about, it was pretty freaky. Not gonna lie. I didn't really expect that right out the gate because I heard going into it that people were saying it was like Lord of the Flies meets It, and then actually the tagline for the
Mhm.
show, it's like, oh yeah, they descend into madness and cannibalism. I was like, okay, but yeah, that was some freaky shit because even when it shows the figure, you see they're wearing like a soccer T-shirt, so it shows there's like kids and everything, like high schoolers and whatnot, sports and all
Yeah,
that good
yeah,
stuff. I'm like, shit. So like people like younger than we are doing this kind of stuff. It was pretty freaky.
yeah, for sure.
Good
It,
way to start the show.
yeah, and I think they took a chance with like having it start out like, oh, this is where things are going to end up, and you don't know what happened before this. It's pretty interesting that they did it that way, but ultimately, it really captured my attention. Did it capture yours?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, after that, we get into our introduction to the character Shauna, and she's going to town on herself on her daughter's bed. And
Do what you gotta do, right?
yeah, right. And she appears to be looking at her daughter's photo with her boyfriend. What came into your head when you saw that initially?
Well, someone's not too satisfied with their home lives.
Yeah, for sure. Um, what I thought is this is like a really strange character,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
it really sets you up for um, uh, with Shauna that she doesn't really have boundaries. That was like a really good indicator of what her character is, throughout the show. So I think they set that up very well. After that, we start getting into the learning about the survivors. So we're in like the present day, learning about Shauna, Natalie, Tysa, and Misty, which is one of my favorite characters. Uh, who
yeah.
who who out of those four, the older characters, was your favorite?
Out of the four older ones, that they're all pretty close together. Honestly, maybe Misty, really, because she has a
Miss
very interesting dichotomy, which we'll talk about as we get more into like specific scenes. But yeah, I'd probably say Misty.
Missy, yeah, same here. I really like me some Missy. It's nice seeing Christina Ricci back on
Mm.
something. And then after that, we get a reporter that's talking to Shauna, asking her, trying to get the scoop on what happened while they were out there in the wilderness. And you can see that they kind of have this pact where they don't talk about what happened out there, no matter how much money, no matter what gifts they can get out of it. They're never going to talk about
What happens in the wilderness stays in the wilderness. Yeah.
it. Yeah. When they go to the pass, we get um, visuals of Jackie and Shauna's relationship. They're like best friends, they're besties, living in the '90s. Did Are you kind of familiar with the '90s?
I was born in '96, which is actually when the past parts of the show take place. So not too much really, because that was like my early years. But I mean, a decent amount. Like I like a lot of '90s culture and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure. I think they did a really good choice with music as well. They picked
Oh
some
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
obscure things too.
for sure. I love
Um,
the soundtrack.
yeah, but yeah, you're getting a little bit of their relationship, how toxic it is, and
Yeah, yeah.
it really sets up what's to come for the show. So we learned that they are a part of a soccer team, and they're like one of the best, and they're about to go to region. Editing Hector here. I meant to say nationals, so just keep that in mind as I keep saying regionals. Regionals. They're gonna fly out to. Do you know what the destination was? They were
Yeah,
gonna
they
fly
said they were going to Seattle, and they're
Seattle.
from New
Yeah,
Jersey. Yeah, so I don't know why they would fly over to Canada, but hey, they did for some reason.
yeah, right. I'm not really familiar with flight patterns, so I never
Mm,
even thought of that. So they're about to go fly over there, and they're having like a practice, right? And one of
mm.
them gets injured, and it's pretty. That's
Injured's
a.
a bit of a yeah, bit of an
It's
understatement there.
it's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Yeah,
we get
that's some pretty gruesome shit.
yeah, we get our first peek at some of the gore, that we'll be seeing in the show. I think like
Hmm.
her bone pops out, right?
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ty set her up big time.
When they're doing that practice, we get kind of like a peek into each character, or like some of the main characters for the show. Like we get Laura Lee, she's like the god fearing, she prays for before every game. We get some of Natalie, she's like the alternative, not the alternative, but like, kind of like goth or '90s punk type of girl. We get Ty. She wants to be the captain or wants to be the leader. We have Jackie, who is the leader, right? She's made captain right before they go for
Mm.
the regionals, right? And then we also have Shauna, of course, where she just like tags along. She's like she's like the alternative girl, you know, like I'm not like most girls, you know. Tags along. So those are like pretty much our mains. There's Van as well, but we get more into her as the show goes on. Now, as far as those characters, which ones were you paying attention more as the show was going on?
Well, each one of them kind of had a moment, really. Each one of them has become more developed as the show goes on.
Mhm.
I mean, Lottie for sure, based on what we know at the end. But we'll talk more about that as we get there. But Lottie becomes extremely important. Um, yeah, and then actually, I was talking to my friend Matt from Movie in the Middle, and he was watching the show with his brother.
Uh-huh.
His brother said in the first episode that Misty was his favorite character because she was so nice and enthusiastic about setting up the cones and doing all that stuff. I'm like, haha, well, your opinion's going to change very, very fast. I'll tell you that now.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's like the ball girl, right? She just like collects
Yeah,
cones, collects the
yeah,
balls.
yeah. Yeah, she just does like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So um, after that, we get more into Shauna and Jackie's relationship, and there's the revelation that Shauna is messing around with Jackie's
Hmm.
boyfriend.
Yep. Well, that's
Yeah.
probably going to cause some awkward drama later on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What were you thinking when you found out about that? Like about this character in particular?
I was like, well, shit, that's not good. That's like I said, that's going to cause some problems. That's something that will obviously come up as the show goes on, which of course it does. So yeah, with heartbreaking
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah, I was thinking like, damn, Shauna's a piece of shit.
Yeah, yeah, she's not the best. Yeah.
So after that, we start getting more into like the ending where they're flying over, and then they have turbulence and end up crashing, and you don't get to see like the aftermath as of yet. But then they jump to like future teen, or like pretty much, I don't know at what state they are as them being in, you know, out there in the wilderness, but they're like having a ritual sort of thing, and they're cooking up Ditch Girl, and
Hmm.
they're feasting, and they're
Yeah.
all wearing these weird outfits for the leader appears to be having has like this antler type hood up on them, and hair, just like weird placement of hair on their gown or whatever they're wearing, and then one of them is revealed to be Misty. That's our first
Hmm.
indication of, oh wow, they're cannibals. You know,
The only one that we know of at this point.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, what were you thinking when that revelation came up at the end of episode one?
It was pretty creepy. Like she was like staring like right into the camera. It's like I got you next, bitch. I was like, oh shit, okay. Um, but yeah, I'm really curious about who the other cannibals are because, like I said, the whole season kind of goes by, never really goes back into that. So yeah, I was very very curious, definitely very unsettling, and the whole scene too. Like they string the body up and they slit its throat and everything. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not like because it doesn't look like they were just like okay, someone dies, so we eat them. It's like they were hunting each other, which is so much worse. Like good lord. So
yeah, exactly. And I thought the show was going to get more into that, but it looks like they're really taking their time. But I'm
yeah,
liking it.
season two. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that too. Yeah, because it creates more of a mystery. Because I was
yeah,
thinking about the whole season. I was like, when's this gonna come back? It's like, wow. And it gets hinted at a
yeah,
little bit towards the end, but we'll see. We shall see.
yeah, for sure. So the start of episode two is having the turbulence and crashing, and we're seeing it pretty much from the point of view of Jackie and Shauna, right? Jackie gives Shauna, like during the flight, she gives her um, Zanny, right? So she can calm down because she's having like issues. I have issues too. I don't really like flying. Do you?
I love flying.
You love flying?
Yeah,
Ooh.
flying is fun.
Oh man, I don't like flying, especially when it's all rough. Ugh, I could feel every bump. Like freaks
Well, the
me out.
show's not gonna. I'm sure the show didn't help with that at all.
Oh no, no. So they crash, and one of the things I was wondering, because when they get out of the plane, well, actually, let me get to initially when they do crash. People are dying. They're trying to get off of the plane, and there comes a situation where Shauna and Jackie can save Van. She's like tied up right with the seatbelt, and there's like fire blaze behind her, and Jackie makes the decision that they just need to leave. What did that tell you about Jackie's character, or Shauna as well?
Well, that Jackie's definitely, at least, well, this doesn't really come into play later, but it looked like Jackie was more of a survivalist. Like she cared more about protecting herself and the ones closest to her. But like I said, that gets dropped later on. Um, but yeah, that was. I mean, I kind of get it honestly from her perspective. It's kind of messed up she left her there, but at the same time, it's like, well, you only have a few seconds before you yourself are incinerated, so I can't really blame her for leaving her behind. It's like they tried. It's not going to move. Well, I don't want. She's going to die. I don't want to die too. God damn it. So sorry.
Right, and
Sorry
it
that
gets
makes me
like
sound cold hearted, but just being honest, you gotta look out for number one, right?
that's true, and it becomes even like super awkward because
Yeah,
Van
Van
ends up
lives. Yeah,
surviving.
it's like you motherfucker.
For real. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
bitch, you left me.
Well, I'm sure Jackie felt bad about it, but like I said, you gotta focus on your own survival.
That's true, and that's probably why there's probably still tension between them, but she could probably kind of see it from her viewpoint. Like, that's true. It did look like I was going to die for sure.
Mm,
Right. So the thing I was going to talk about before is, how the coach, what's his name, Coach Ben,
yeah.
he's pinned, his leg is pinned underneath one of the wings of the plane. I was
Yeah.
thinking, like, how
Mm.
how did this happen? Did he fall out the plane and the wing just
Yeah,
fell
I
on him,
mean,
or
I guess he could have been sucked out or something, and then the wing broke off and fell on him. Something like that, I guess. The
yeah,
plane crash was really gruesome too, because I don't know if you've seen Lost. Fantastic show if you haven't seen it, but the plane crash there is kind of tame. This was like gruesome. Like people were on fire and shit. Limbs were severed.
yeah,
Like the whole thing was broken to be like it was more realistic. But I was like, damn, like Lost is like a kiddie version compared to this show. Like, good lord.
yeah, for sure. Well, it's probably because it was on regular primetime television,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Showtime doesn't care. Showtime just does whatever they want.
oh yeah. Although Hannibal was on primetime television, they got away with a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know how they did that.
yeah, but yeah, we get some pretty gruesome deaths, and especially with the coach, they're all trying to lift off the wing, and you see his leg flat like a pancake.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, that was like some Evil Dead shit.
For real. And then Misty has the idea
Misty, yeah.
to chop off
Without
his leg.
hesitate, without hesitation. Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, this girl's ruthless. That was my
yeah.
first indication that Misty, she's kind of weird.
Yeah,
she
she's
like,
mentally unstable. Yeah.
yeah, she was like happy to have the opportunity to do that.
Well, yeah, because she's finally important. Like she finally feels she's doing something. So, yeah,
Yeah, exactly, and
good on you, Misty. I guess.
that plays into the ending for that
Yeah.
episode.
Yep.
Um, but before that happens, we go into back a little bit to the current time, and we're getting introduced to Natalie having this whole entire thing with Travis, and she's trying to get a hold of Travis. And um, it's not this episode, but the following episode where Missy joins her. But we also get uh, indications that they're not over their past. Like we have Shauna um, kill a bunny for chili. We have other things that are being set up, like um, Ty. We find out that she is trying to run for what was she trying to run for? It was
State Senate.
state senate. She's trying to run for state senate, and she finds out that her son sees a woman outside of his window doing weird stuff, and really creeps him out. And we're setting that up for later on in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He has like freaky drawings of the woman and other
Yeah.
people in his bedroom and stuff. Um, yeah, that kid is being traumatized for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then in this episode as well, we get our first look at the symbol. We see it on a tree. So I don't know if that was carved there before they landed or somebody from the team carved it. We don't really know. What do you think? What's your thought on that?
I think it's probably it was probably already there. I think there's probably another group of people out there in the woods. That's my theory for like
Oh,
season
okay.
2, especially based on what happens in the final episode.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I wasn't really thinking that there's other people there. I think there was like people probably in the past, but currently there, I'm not too sure. But yeah, my thoughts are there's like some type of ghostly force or something going on there. It's probably kind of like a Bermuda Triangle type of thing.
Yeah, there's definitely some supernatural stuff going on.
Exactly. And then another thing is Natalie runs into a friend that she had in the past, and he's like a cop now, and
Kevin, yeah.
he's trying to get in with her and stuff, but she doesn't really utilize him until later. And we get a little bit into Natalie and Misty's relationship. They're kind of like at odds. Misty wants to be her friend, but for sure, Natalie doesn't really care for it. Even though it seems like she could really use a friend.
Yeah, friends don't show up to friends' houses with guns and wait for them to come in, you know. So yeah, Natalie's not feeling that shit.
Yeah, for sure. With Natalie, she's like a recovering drug addict. So
Mm.
her main mission to go and find Travis is to like find out if, you know, he went back into drugs or not or what's going on with him because she hasn't really spoken to him and we don't know how long, but seems like it's been a long time. In the next episode, which is titled Dollhouse, this is the episode where they're trying to leave the plane crash site and they buried all their dead. One of them being Travis and his younger brother's father. Were you thinking that they were going to eat the dead?
Oh, definitely not. That's way too
No.
early. Like
Yeah, right.
no one who just survived a plane crash is automatically gonna go straight to cannibalism. Like that's kind of ridiculous. So no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember seeing people thinking that they were like immediately going to go to cannibalizing the dead.
Definitely not. Yeah.
I think because a lot of people correlate this to that one movie Alive with the soccer team, or not the soccer team, but they're like a rugby team that crashed in the Andes, and they resorted to cannibalism pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, Yellowjackets, I guess, is more realistic. I don't know, I've never been in that situation where I've had to eat the flesh of another human being, so I don't know how long it takes to get to that point.
Right? Yeah, it takes a lot. Not from my own experience, but
Whoa, sir, sir.
we also have Shauna. She gets into, or I think this was in episode 2 actually. She gets into an accident with this guy, and it's definitely her fault. But the way she
Oh
acts, it's
yeah,
like it's his fault.
yeah. She's a Karen.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what the hell? I do claims on a regular basis, and whenever I get calls like people from like Shauna, it always annoys me. And I had flashbacks whenever I saw that.
Like you got a little touch of realism there for the show, for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. But this guy starts hitting on her. What were you thinking at this point in regards to this incident?
I mean, yeah, I thought Shauna was acting kind of ridiculous. I mean, she's definitely not my type, but hey, whatever floats your boat, bro. Um, yeah, I mean, I personally, if someone rear-ended me and then was acting like it was my fault, I would want nothing to do with that person. But hey, like I said, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he gives her his number. I think she even writes her number right on his arm or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was in episode 2. So in episode 3, This is the episode where Shauna gets like indications that her husband is cheating. He says, "Oh, I have a long night at back at the store." He's like a furniture salesman.
Hmm.
Um, he's like, "The boys need me. They need me to unload." uh, so this kind of like gives, I guess, create or a justification to Shauna to like cheat on him.
I mean, I guess in her mind, yeah. I mean, you should probably be pretty sure before you do something like that, though, because you never know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. She like follows him to a hotel, and she catches him like talking to this girl. They're like exiting from like a part of the hotel, and that like kind of puts the nail in the coffin for her, thinking that he's cheating.
Mm.
But by happenstance, we have her boy toy that she found with that car accident is there as well. What did you think about that?
Well, there was a very interesting mystery with that character, and that scene kind of started it off where I was like, "Ooh, what's this guy doing?" I actually thought that he was a lot more involved than he ends up being, but yeah, I was definitely very intrigued when I saw him there.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking like, okay, this isn't just coincidence. There has to be something going on here. I didn't really know what could be going on, but I thought it was very suspicious, kind of sus. But yeah, they start hitting it off. He's like talking about this whole entire thing that he like loves to live his life one day at a time, something of that nature. Say la vie. I don't even think that's the saying, right? but
Yeah,
he,
say la vie. That's life.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, he's like one of those guys, like, oh, let's be spontaneous, let's do random shit, trying to wow somebody. As far as the next thing, we have Natalie, and she's trying to go find Travis, and Misty decides to join. The way she does it is well, you don't really know yet, but she messed with Natalie's car, and now she's forced to go with her to go find Travis.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was very obvious that Misty messed with her car. Natalie, I felt kind of honestly should have questioned that a little bit sooner. But yeah. Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? Your car won't start, huh?
Yeah.
I guess
how,
you have to come with me now, don't you?
how can you be more obvious?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess that's just the quirk of Misty. She
Hmm.
mystifies you. Um,
Well, yeah.
Even if you are like Natalie, who doesn't really give a shit, you get the sense that she knows, but she's like, I don't care. It's whatever. There was this funny situation where they're like pumping gas, and Misty goes in to get some supplies, and she comes back, and she's like chewing on beef jerky. And he's like, beef jerky, really? And that just like kind of like played with the whole cannibalism thing.
Hmm.
Like they
Yeah.
probably they probably like in order to keep some of the meat fresh or more last longer, they probably like did turned it into jerky.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would ever want to eat meat again after I was a cannibal, but hey, maybe it tastes good. You never know.
Yeah, right. You never know. You gotta try it yourself. We get more into Ty and her like Senate race, and we find out we have a revelation that reporter girl, her name was Jessica. She's actually working with her, and Natalie's trying to make sure that they all stay quiet so it doesn't interfere with her, Senate race. What do you think about that revelation?
I was kind of surprised. I thought that she was actually a reporter who was actually trying to uncover this, but no, she was just being hired to do this stuff.
And what were you thinking of Ty so far? That everything was going on.
I was definitely intrigued, because they were saying they gotta stay out the public eye. Running for political office is very outside of not doing that, basically. Even her opponent even ran that campaign where they implied she was a cannibal. So yeah, very interesting political candidate, having someone like that doing it. So I was very intrigued with that storyline of the political stuff about whether or not she was actually going to win and how this is going to affect it, as well as being probably the most famous out of all of them for being so in the public eye.
Yeah, that's hilarious. You bring up that ad where she's eating ribs.
Yeah.
uh, that was hilarious. I could see some political ads in reality getting like that for sure.
hmm Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Also, in this episode, one of the main things is with their past selves in the wilderness. They decide to go to a lake, and while they're all swimming in the lake, um, they find out that there's a cabin nearby, and it's actually Lottie that points it out. I think she sees like a reflector or something, right? Like something shining from that area.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so she's the one that points it out, and they go there, and we find out that um, there was somebody there. We don't really know, you know, who they are or why they were there. But we do see that there is a body in the attic, and there's a symbol there. It's not the same symbol that we see on the tree, but it's a different symbol. What do you think about that whole thing?
Honestly, I'm not too sure, really. I've heard some rumors that the dead guy is supposed to be the guy that's in that creepy ghost scene in the season finale. So maybe he's part of some other group or something. But honestly, I'm not really too sure what's going on with the whole cabin dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true because you do see whenever Jackie is having that, or no, not Jackie, it's Shauna, right? She's having that dream, or
No, it's Jackie.
it is Jackie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, she sees the figure in the background, right?
Yeah.
And also in this episode, we have Tysa. She has like a flashback of her younger self with like even younger. She's like a little girl with her grandma, and her grandma's talking about like how she's gonna die and like preparing her for it. You know, like they saying that it's like a beautiful thing, this and that. And like near the end of the episode, when she's actually like dying, she's like freaking out and saying that she sees a man. I think he has like no eyes or something of that
Yeah.
nature. What do you think?
Creepy stuff.
What's your thinking for that? What does that have to do with our main storyline?
Well, maybe something bought them there. Maybe they're playing crashed on purpose. Maybe this dude with no eyes is responsible. But who knows? The writers are smarter than I am, so there's probably
Yeah,
something totally different for all I know.
yeah. I didn't really know what to make of that scene, but it was pretty creepy.
Creepy as
I
shit,
liked
yeah.
it.
Mm,
I liked it, especially when she sees her grandma, um, like at her viewing, and she like opens her eyes and they're like pearly white.
yeah.
Yeah, that was very eerie. Um, but yeah, I don't really know what to make of that scene or what that all means. That's why I was like asking you to see what you thought about it. But um, yeah, but it's definitely something that stood out to me. Um, and Tysa is like the type of person that like tries to stay grounded. She like doesn't believe in all that stuff. So to see her have like a past like that, um, uh, just shows that she like tries to hide everything and tries to put on a facade that everything is okay.
Oh, well, very grounded, yeah. Very good choice of words based on what we know about her later. But yeah.
Oh my god, that's true. So in episode 4, um, the group finds a gun and they're like taking turns trying to figure out who can handle it, who can actually take a shot. And it comes down to um, Travis and Natalie. They're like the best shots. Another thing for this episode, Natalie having flashbacks about her family, particularly her father. She actually goes and visits her mother in this episode as well, and her mother's like a hoarder. Adult Shauna and her boy toy Adam, they're like having fun doing weird stuff, jumping off of um, overpasses into lakes down below, and just weird stuff. She's like trying to live her, she's trying to live her young life during her middle age. She's having a, what is it called, midlife crisis. It seems like.
Well, hey, if you're having fun doing it, you might as well do it, no matter how old you are.
um, but yeah, they're out there having fun. We have Ty. She's like doing some type of thing for her Senate race. It's like a get together that all these um, donors and all these higher up people that she has to like talk with, and she talks with this one woman. She's like really trying to get her attention, and everything seems to be going well. She says that she'll fund her race or whatever. She'll like stand by her, but she wants to know what really happened. Everybody wants to know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Ty actually like stands up to her and says like, she says like, shove it up, your your ass. I ain't gonna tell you nothing. Well, what did you think about that whole situation?
Well, it's kind of a stupid thing for a politician to say to a big donor. Um, and yeah, she definitely hurt her chances by doing that. But yeah, I get why she doesn't want to talk about it, because even though we don't know how involved Ty was, I'm assuming that all the survivors were probably cannibals. That's my guess. So I'm assuming Ty was involved with the whole cannibalism thing, which arguably would probably make her look even worse to the donor. Now that I think about it, so like no matter what, she was kind of in a bad spot.
Another thing that happens is Travis is uh, trying to get his father's ring, and he's trying to get it for his brother because his brother's having troubles coping with everything that's happened, as you would imagine a young kid would.
Mm,
um, and Natalie helps him. First, he doesn't want her help, but later on, he ends up getting her help, and you can really see them starting to build a connection between them. How
mm.
do you feel about their relationship? Do you think it seems forced, or were you liking their relationship?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, you gotta have some happy moments out there when you're stuck in the wilderness and whatnot. So yeah, it was nice having a more lighthearted thing going on. And I got it. They're spending all that time together, going out, trying to hunt and whatnot. So yeah, it was cool with me.
Yeah, I actually really like their relationship. I think they were a cool balance, and it like brought some lightheartedness to the show, even though it does get kind of intense, but it was like nice seeing their relationship grow, and we'll probably see more of it soon. But we have them killing a deer. They bring it back. Everyone's excited. It's their first food. For with their time being out there in the wilderness. We have present day Natalie and Misty trying to find Travis. Well, all this is being interweaved a lot better than as I'm presenting it here, you guys. So uh, that's one of the best things about this show. The way they're able to have the past, the present, all interwoven. It's like perfect. I couldn't have thought of any better way to do it. They do it like masterfully. But yeah, they're out there trying to find Travis. They find his house. It's empty. They get arrested, right? And they try to call Ty, but she doesn't want to bail them out. And then Misty ends up getting somebody else to bail them out, and it's the cop guy. He like gets them out of the whole situation. So Natalie has to reconnect with that guy, and then they go on. They find Travis, and it's an apparent suicide. And um, what was your thoughts on that revelation?
Yeah, it's kind of reminded me of It. If you read the book or seen the movies, how one of the adults is dead at the very beginning, pretty much of the adult part of the story. Kind of surprising they kill one of them so early because now every time we see him in the past, we know that he's gonna die.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, it was pretty shocking. Sad too because he's not gonna have a good ending and whatnot. And definitely good mystery too. I was like, did he actually kill himself? Was he murdered? Like I wasn't really sure honestly at that point.
yeah. We never get a look at his older self. I think there's just like a photo or something, but it's like kind of like
Yeah.
um, foggy looking, and you never get a good look at him like his older self. So I don't know what their thinking was with that. Um, I kind of would have liked to have an older version of Travis, like Noah, older version of Travis, but um, I think it was pretty well done the way they had that revelation that he's dead, possibly killed himself, and um, I think like one of the people on this show that's I don't see a lot of love for, but like Natalie, um, I really enjoy her character as well. Do you like Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie's great.
Juliet Lewis, she's really great in this.
For sure.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed her performance. The way she acts, like how jittery she is and like weird. I
Mhm.
really like the way she played her, and she has like some of the most emotional moments as well.
Only thing about her though is that like it's hard for me to buy that's supposed to be the same character because they look totally different from the teenage to the adult version of the character. Like everyone else, they look really similar, but those two look really, really different. Like it's hard for me to kind of make that connection. That's supposed to be the same person.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. They did great with the one that I think is like they look super similar is Shauna. Um, the younger version and the older version, I think they
Mhm.
look very alike. Misty, you know, like the difference is, um, Christina Ricci has blonde hair, but other than that, it's like they don't really look alike. It's mostly like the blonde hair for me. And Ty kind of looks different as well. But I could,
Well, 25 years is a long time, so
yeah, yeah, that's true.
people do look different after a while.
But I could see that, yeah, the Natalie character it does look the most different. Oh yeah, so we ended episode 4. So episode 5, this is what I call the boner episode. Misty finds Coach in his bed and he has a boner, and she's like walking over, well, what's that, and he wakes up. He's like, "What the hell are you doing? Why are you? Well, don't touch me." What'd you think of that situation and the character of Misty?
I felt that Coach Ben better watch his ass. Goddamn.
Yeah.
because because Misty is obviously gonna do some shit later. So watch out, Coach.
Oh, we didn't even talk about at the end of episode 2, Misty, she takes out the black box. That's what that is, right?
Yeah, that was kind
The
of a big
transmitter.
thing. Yeah, that was a big oversight on our part. Yeah, yeah. So she
Yeah.
basically strands them out there. So good
Yeah, so
job.
like so by this time you're like, what the hell is up with Misty?
So yeah,
Like this is you get the feeling this is the first time she's like ever been appreciated for anything because she's
exactly.
out
Yeah.
yeah, she's out there helping people with their wounds, um, you know, doing all kinds of stuff for everyone, and everyone's like, wow, we've like taken Misty for granted. So I think she overhears Van and somebody else talking, right? They're like uh, saying great things about her. That's when she decides to take that transmitter out. It's like she like doomed them all.
I wonder if that's ever gonna come back into play because nobody knew that for the rest of the season.
No, like their future selves, their older selves, nobody wants to talk to Misty. Like no one wants to be around her. There's like a part where Shauna tells her like, "Why are you calling me? I told you never to call me." So I wonder if they know like she ever came clean, or she still hasn't came clean about that because they all like
Honestly,
hate
it
her.
it could just be like her as a person too, because I got that vibe even before they crashed that nobody really seemed to like Misty all that much because she's such a weirdo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it could be like a mixture of all of those things, really.
I kind of don't find it believable because Christy or Christy Missy looks attractive, but like when she has that situation where she's on a date with the guy and he like doesn't even like give her the time of day. He's like trying to get out of the situation. I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't seem very believable. They're like, I feel like they're trying really hard to make her seem so unappealing, but in reality, she really isn't. Like, what do you think about that?
You never been on a date with someone who turned out to be freaking crazy? That's never happened to you? Because it's definitely possible, I'll tell you that. So maybe he was interested at first, but then Misty started showing her true colors, and he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get out of here," which he does when they come
Yeah, yeah.
home. And Natalie's got the gun. He's like, "All right, I'm out." I'm like, "Smart man, smart man."
Well, I've never been in a situation like that, but I guess
Well,
that
let's
speaks
hope you
more for
don't.
me. I think that speaks more for me in general. but um, but yeah. So after that, um, in the morning, they're all outside, or no, they're all like uh in the cabin, and they hear something coming from the roof, and this is already after the fact that they found that body up there in the attic, and um I don't know if they're trying to say like there's something um like paranormal, or there's actually like something that's there as far as like a creature. What do you think? Because it sounded
There's
like actual footsteps on the roof.
yeah, there's definitely something paranormal going on for sure, 100%.
Okay, you don't think it's like a creature or something?
Well, I mean, that could be something paranormal. It could be like a Wendigo or something, for all we know.
Another thing is they're like setting up camp. Everybody has their own little jobs and stuff. Jackie's like the black sheep. She hasn't like really fit into everything. And somebody gets her to go get water, and she sees Lottie just half waist deep in water in the lake and just staring out into nothingness. And um, I think this is the same episode where she runs out on her medication. You see that she's like medicated, and there's only like one pill left. What'd you think about this? What were you thinking about the character of Lottie and what was going on with her?
Lottie is like super weird, and a lot of really interesting mysteries with her too. She's definitely the Antler Queen. I'm 100% guaranteed that she's going to be revealed to be the Antler Queen in season two. But yeah, a lot of really interesting things with Lottie. I'm honestly not really too sure about the specifics, but yeah, she's definitely behind a lot of this weird shit.
Yeah, see, I think so too. I think also in this episode, that's when they do the séance, and she like gets like possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but we have like the glass just like shatters in her face and cuts her. I think like something there finds her vulnerable, because she's not on her medication, and ends up taking over her. But we also have like other indications that she's like, kind of normal. She's like, she catches Ty eating dirt
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the
Weird
night.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that scene was hella creepy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, and that's all after the fact that she, got possessed, and Laura Lee does the exorcism, and she throws a book at her, and she's like, "Whoa, why did you do that?" And she's like back to normal. So, um, yeah, I think something like sees that she's vulnerable, and she has this like um link to the other side, because in the next episode, there's like the background of her knowing things before they happen. Like she stops
Mm,
that her parents by screaming because, um, or she just starts screaming in the car, and the parents stop the car, and an accident happens ahead of them, and they chalk it up to her having issues and stuff, and they take her to a psychiatrist and stuff. So it definitely seems like her medication, getting off of it, she's now vulnerable to whatever's there, and that's when shit starts hitting the fan and it takes over. What do you think?
I said she might actually have some kind of psychic abilities because she did save her folks, like you just said. So who knows, honestly? Maybe the medication stops this kind of psychic stuff from happening, but maybe she actually does have some kind of abilities.
Yeah, because another indicator is when she sees that there's a cabin over there, she sees like a flashing light or something. So there's definitely something that's trying to lead them, over there.
Hmm.
Another thing is we have Shauna. She's missing her. She's late on her period, and she like fakes it. She like gets one of the rags or the gauze and like what is it, like in the pool of blood from the deer, right?
Hmm.
After she like slashed its neck, she like puts it in there and like, oh, you jinxed me because Jackie, she like uh they have the conversation about it, and she's like, oh, you jinxed me, see, and then she puts it in the pot of water, and we get the indication that she may be pregnant, and that's not good.
Yeah, that's a big no-no in this situation.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with when it's someone's boyfriend that's there with you.
Hmm.
Makes it even
Hmm.
weirder.
Your best friend at that.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, yeah. Another thing that happens in this episode is the present day Shauna, because we can't get enough Shauna. She's going out with her Adam boyfriend guy, and they are at a nightclub and they get caught by her daughter. What did
Hmm.
you think of that?
What are the odds they would both go to the same spot? Like, good lord. Yeah, that's very, 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 very unlucky for
This has
Shauna
to
at
be
that
a
point.
this has to be a small town.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but damn. Yeah, that was just such bad timing.
Yeah. Misty confesses her love for the coach, and he tries to play it off like, "Oh yeah, I have the same feelings, but we can't do anything. I'm older than you, this and that." Um, but Misty is like, really, she really wants something to happen, so much so that she poisons him, or
Hmm.
uh, she gives him the mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what her thinking was with that.
Roofies.
Right? Maybe if he's all throwing up and convulsing, he'll fall in love with her.
Jesus.
Mm. And then it really seems like Travis and Natalie are starting to have something. And then the other big thing was the seance, them having the seance. At the end of this episode, Natalie confronts Tysa, and um, Tysa comes and she tells her that Travis is dead, and we find out that they're getting blackmailed, right? Because like at
Hmm.
that same exact time, Natalie gets that text with the symbol and um, saying, "Bring 50,000." I was like, 50,000. That's pretty low. Are you thinking that?
Yeah, I was thinking that, yeah.
I'm like 50,000. I'd probably be asking for a lot more than that.
More than a year's salary, yeah.
Yeah, but uh yeah, so they get blackmailed, and that leads up to Shauna getting called by Misty. And that's when Misty's like, or Shauna's like, told you never to call me. Why are you calling me? And Missy's like, well, I thought you would want to know, if anything happened and Travis is dead. And then that brings us to Shauna and all of them meeting up except for Misty. Um, they leave Misty out of it because they don't like Misty.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like trying to come up with a game plan for how they'll, do the whole transaction thing, where they'll get the money from, because Tysa, she can't get into her bank account without her wife knowing, and there's all that going on. At this point, who were you thinking was behind what was going on with the blackmail and all this stuff?
Honestly, I wasn't sure. Definitely not who it ends up being. But yeah, I thought it was probably some kind of third party that we hadn't seen yet, if I had to guess.
Yeah, let's get into who it ends up being. What did you think of that revelation?
I was pretty surprised. I was like, damn, okay, that's a interesting way to go. Yeah, he definitely could have asked. It was like kind of like Fargo. If you ever saw that movie, for like the dude, like he messes with his own family to try to get money, which is just dumb. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't something more sinister. But of course, it leads to really bad shit happening.
Yeah, true. I seriously thought it was going to be whoever was behind Travis's death. Um,
Mm,
but that I like how they did that whole thing where she gets into the closet and she sees the glitter and she thinks it's Adam.
mm.
And it's not Adam. She
Nope.
kills him.
Yep.
Um, I thought that was
That poor man.
hilarious.
He really was just trying to live his best life. He actually did like Shauna. He was innocent, and he got stabbed and died.
Yeah, yeah, let's talk about that. So she kills him. What do you think about Adam? Do you think he's just an innocent person, or do you think there's something actually up and
Well,
something
yeah,
behind all
that's
this?
what I was just saying. That yeah, I think he really was just this innocent dude who just kind of got caught up in this by accident, and now he's gone.
Okay, I think he might be a cult member.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter now, does it?
Yeah, I think he might be, because the way everything happens is like so happenstance, where she's at the hotel, he uh he just happens to be there. Just think about the accident. It's a rear end accident. He can easily just push on the brakes and she could crash into him. You know, I feel like everything might be set up.
Hmm. I didn't think about that, but that's definitely an interesting theory.
Yeah, I think he might be a part of something. They can't find anything on him. Remember, they were looking for him on uh, the whatever college he said he was at, or art school. Um, the daughter took it upon herself to look to see if she could find him. She couldn't find anything on him, so I think he might be a part of this mysterious cult that we find out at the end of the show. Another thing we can get into is a situation with um, Tysa and her taking it upon herself to um, really go in for the whole Senate thing with lying and saying that the painted word, what was the, I don't remember what the word was, but someone had painted something onto her door,
Mm,
and she like used that for cannon fodder for her whole Senate thing, and she's really trying to pursue that, even though she told her wife another thing, saying that she wouldn't, that would all end. Um, and we start getting into the realization that the person that might be behind all that is possibly her. What do
hmm.
you think?
Yeah, and I thought they did say it was her, but yeah. I mean, hey, you gotta do what you can to get office, I guess, man. Politicians are some pretty shady people, so hey, that's not
Yeah,
the
right.
worst thing she does for the job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
She kills the dog later on in the show, so that was obviously way worse. And does some black magic shit.
Yeah, she's just doing some weird ass shit.
Hmm.
her wife goes down to the basement or cellar, whatever they have, and she finds like a shrine,
Yep.
and it has the decapitated head of their family dog.
Yep.
I was seriously thinking that they were going to find the or that she was going to find um, Adam's torso there
Well,
because
torsos don't matter according to Misty.
yeah, I don't think that's factual. I
Yeah, I
think
know.
they
Like,
can still find DNA off a torso.
but yeah. So, and she wins the race because of that too.
Yeah, yeah, she does. So, what do you think Tysa is in on the cult, or do you think this is just a side hustle she's doing, a weird side hustle?
I don't know if she's involved with the cults, but she's definitely up to some weird stuff for sure, even if it's on her own. Like she's learned some kind of witchcraft from somewhere.
Yeah, maybe from Lottie, because we learned that Lottie is still alive. She's one of the survivors that was never talked about,
Mm,
and
yep.
because is it Natalie? Yeah, Natalie. She like talks to her sponsor or somebody else that was a
Mm,
part of
yeah.
her when she was trying to recover from being a drug addict, and she gets them to do like research on on Travis, and I guess this person gets into a rabbit hole and it starts getting followed by some people, and the name Lottie comes out.
Hmm.
What did you think of that revelation?
That was crazy. I have no idea who this cult is, and I didn't even know there was a cult, so that was really surprising. The fact that Lottie was alive and apparently is pulling some strings, it was definitely a really good setup for season two. Really good cliffhangers.
Yeah, and Natalie gets taken.
Hmm. That's right.
Yeah, she's like about to take her own life,
Yep.
and they're like, "Hell no!" And they just break into the hotel or the motel room,
A lot of
and
people break into that motel room,
yeah,
like Misty did a couple episodes before that to stop her from doing drugs, which was
yeah,
hilarious,
yeah.
by the way. That was a
It's about a
hilarious scene.
relapse. She takes it.
It just does it without hesitation. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's like never done it before, and she decides
Yep.
to her first time is to do a whole bag.
It could have been heroin or something too,
Oh yeah.
like
Ugh.
Pulp Fiction, you know.
Yeah, that scene was really good. There's a lot of moments that are pretty hilarious in this show.
There is, yeah.
Um,
Misty's low key kind of a good friend for doing that, even though it was due to some creepy spy stalking shit.
yeah, she like gets that little owl looking pot or whatever it is, like a
Yeah.
little statue, and has a camera in there, just
Yep.
watching her. She even watches while she has sex with that guy.
Kevin, yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, Missy has some things hidden as well because she kidnaps a person as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jessica. And you get the sense that this isn't the first time she's done this because she has this weird dungeon.
Yeah, yeah. And she kills her too later
Yeah.
on after the whole like misery thing.
Yeah, she has it in her head that she has something to do with it. Do you think Jessica had anything to do with this, or she just an
Nah.
innocent bystander?
I think it was just she was just involved with, well, Tysa hired her. I think that's probably as far as she goes.
Yeah. So yeah, she like has her chained up to a bed, but it's like the most amicable ending to, a person kidnapping someone, kind of like Stockholm syndrome. She just like lets her go, but she puts what was it? Fentanyl, right? Into her cigarettes. What did she
Something
put
like
into?
that. I don't remember
And
exactly, but yeah.
she should have turned down those cigarettes.
They're
And
bad for you. Yeah. In this case, really bad for you.
yeah, well, Misty at first she didn't give them to her. Remember, she like just had them in the trash, but she insisted that she wanted the cigarettes. So was Misty really going to let her go, Or
I think she knew she was going to ask for them, and that's probably how she's going to justify her death. Like, oh, well, she wanted to smoke cigarettes. If she hadn't done that, then, she'd still be alive.
yeah,
Like, she's
yeah,
definitely
true.
twisted enough to think like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. She wanted. Yeah, because I was kind of thinking like maybe she didn't want to kill her, but now that you said that, yeah, that could be justification in her head. She had a choice,
Mhm.
right? It's kind of like Saw, Jigsaw.
Jigsaw did kill a guy for smoking one time, so yeah.
Yeah, he leaves a choice up to them. They have choice to live or die.
Don't
So
smoke, kids. Yeah.
yeah, Missy's Jigsaw. What else happens? They go to their high school reunion. They're like treated like celebrities. Everyone
Yeah,
loves
they come out
them.
the offspring. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
Osprey. I love
That
that
was a
song.
great scene. They're all just walking with the music playing and shit.
Yeah, but yeah, everybody treats them like celebrities. And there's like a collage of all the soccer team and a lot of photos of Jackie, and we learn what actually happens to Jackie.
Hmm.
So as far as Ditch Girl, did you think that Jackie was Ditch Girl? Because we have that necklace, right?
I didn't think it was her. I thought it was probably just some random person, which I still think, honestly.
I did think it was Jackie,
You
but
did?
yeah, I did until she gave the necklace to Shauna. Then I didn't really know what to think, but I thought she was probably going to get the necklace back somehow. Um, but yeah, I did think it was going to be Jackie. Now I don't really know who the hell is going to be.
I heard a lot of theories that Jackie would be the first one to be killed by the cannibals, so at least her death was a little bit more peaceful, I guess. Although, yeah, still sad she died though.
Yeah, that fight between her and Shauna was pretty intense. What did you
It
think of
was,
that?
yeah. It was very intense. It was really sad watching like two best friends just fall apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
And
really
it has such
cut
bad
deep.
consequences, yeah.
Yeah, I was really sad seeing the way she died because
Yeah, yeah.
just like left out alone in the cold.
In the snow, yeah. She
Pretty
froze to
messed
death
up.
in the snow. Yep.
Yeah, it just happens that's the first day of winter, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Cannibals in time, because we saw that was a winter.
Oh yeah. So I think they're saying that they've been out there for like 15 to 18 months.
It was
Um,
19.
19 months. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
very, very long time.
so what do you think? Do you think the first winter they become cannibals, or the second?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, Maybe the second because they're still kind of early on. Actually, maybe the first because they'd already kind of tried to kill Travis in the episode before that,
Yeah.
and and then at the end there was that scene where they were kind of like they had the big heart, which I'm assuming was that bear's heart.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe the first winter. Who knows?
And in that scene with the bear, you get like that indication that there's Lottie has something going on because bears don't just walk up to you like that and
Yeah.
sacrifice themselves, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, one of my issues with the show was the CGI. I thought the bear looked terrible. Um,
Well,
but
just every now and then.
I think everything else, like the practical effects, everything looked great. The airplane scene that looked really good. If you had any negatives about the show, what were your negatives?
Um, any negatives? I wish there was maybe a little more focus on some of the other characters because we only got to focus on like a handful of them, but it looked like there was way more people on the plane, which is something that was kind of an issue with Lost as well. There was like a meme about Lost where it always focuses on like the same 20 people, but there's like 100 some people on the plane. It's kind of the same
Mhm.
thing here. I wish there was more of a background there with some of the other ones. Um, any other negatives? Not really. This was a really good first season. Like once it was over, I immediately wanted season two, like right then. So
Seriously,
yeah,
yeah.
uh,
I feel like every episode, you know, there was like no filler episode. Every
definitely not.
episode had something that propelled the story. So,
Shocking
um,
moments too.
yeah, there's a lot of
Like
great twists and turns.
like Laura Lee on the plane too.
Oh yeah, Laura
Tr
Lee.
Tries to fly out and then
Yeah, did you think she was gonna make it out?
no, I didn't.
Me either.
But I
Um,
think she was definitely killed by some kind of supernatural force.
oh, you do? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, the bear just caught on fire out of nowhere. It's like, what the hell? And then the whole plane just exploded. But everything was going fine. It was just, yeah, I think there's definitely a supernatural force and I want them to leave. And that dream sequence that Jackie had, which was so creepy, by the way. That we love you, Jackie. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
there's definitely some supernatural shit going down for sure, guaranteed.
And then Jackie almost gets killed by the plane, right? When they first find it, because like
Yeah.
it starts moving and the propeller's like going ham, is about to destroy her.
hmm
And then Natalie and Jackie's relationship as well. It seems like they've had like bad blood for a while before. I like shows where like each character has a story behind them. They're not just there. This one, I like knowing that these characters are fucked up before they, you know, get stranded out in the forest and get even more fucked up.
Yep. Yeah, that definitely did not help them whatsoever.
There's that whole thing with Travis, and they decide to have their first with each other. Well, Travis is like drugged, right? He's on mushrooms because he drank from the mushroom
hmm
pot, um, and that like had all the girls that drank from there as well start going crazy and want to eat him essentially. Do you think the mushrooms is going to be a thing in regards to the cannibalism, or do you think it's just this indicator of them going down this path already?
Yeah, just an indicator. I don't think you need mushrooms to. Yeah, that was just like opening the gates, really.
What did you think of that scene in particular?
It was freaky. I was like, shit, you better run, dude. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, at
And
first,
Sean was about to slit his throat too. I'm like, holy fuck.
yeah, first it seemed like he was having a good time, and then things got very weird.
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of an understatement. Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of good cliffhangers, like with the cult and Lottie's alive and all that good stuff. I think that some of the characters that are dead, we will still see in the future, just like as a ghost or whatever. Like I doubt it's the last we're gonna see of Jackie or anybody. Um, yeah, so definitely some supernatural stuff going on. I think the whole thing with Adam's gonna have to come into play. Tysa obviously killing the dog is gonna have to come into play, becoming state senator and all that good stuff. But yeah, this is a really smart show. It's a really smartly written show. This could go like in a million different directions, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we haven't even thought of that they're planning.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into our thoughts and theories. So, how do you think this whole cult or whatever starts out with them in the woods? Do you think it's the entire team, or do you think they get into like a dispute and some of them turn to cannibalism and some of them don't? Or what do you think?
Yeah, there's probably factions. I'm assuming Lottie is the leader of this cult. Um, like I said, I think there's probably already some people out there in the woods, so maybe Lottie touches base with them. And there's probably like some big supernatural force that's controlling everything. So those are my theories. But like I said, I'm probably totally wrong. Like I said, there have plans for stuff that we haven't even considered.
Yeah, my thoughts. I think because we're getting like the first hint at Van really getting into this whole cult type of situation with Lottie. She's like really believing all of her, everything she talks about. So it seems like Van for sure is definitely going to be on Team Lottie. Um, I think I think Tysa might create her own little, group or something. Because she seems like to be that type of person. They're like putting her out to be like a leader.
Mm,
So yeah, like you said, there's going to be like factions. So I don't think all of them are going to turn to cannibalism. I think what's
I
going to
hope not.
happen. I think what's going to happen is Lottie's going to be like, we have to do this in order to survive and to become one with nature or something or something like that to appease the wilderness gods or whatever. I'm not really sure if there's other people there with them, that there's like a society there. What if we find out that the new Wrong Turn reboot is actually a canon in this, and that's the society that's there?
I'll be pretty disappointed if that was the case.
What do you think is going to happen with the adult versions?
They're gonna have to rescue Natalie. They're probably gonna get hunted down. They're gonna have to confront Lottie about this, and personal lives will probably fall apart too because Ty obviously killed the dog, and then Shauna killed the dude, and so they're gonna have to deal with the law as well, most likely. So it's gonna get super messy with the adult part of the storyline as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, for sure. They're going to have to go find Natalie. There's probably going to be some time because she like destroyed. Remember the camera, Missy's camera. If
Hmm.
Missy's camera was still there, they'd have a head start. But I think it's going to be some time before they actually realize that she's missing. What do you think?
I think they'll probably realize right away. They'll probably try to call her or something, and when they don't get a response, they'll go investigate. Kind of like what they did with Travis.
Yeah, I think there might be some time before they really realize. But I don't know with Misty, she's all up in everyone's business, so
Hmm.
she'll probably take the reins. What do you think with Misty's character and the whole Jessica situation? Do you think anything's going to come out of that, or
Oh yeah,
yeah?
that's gonna yeah. She might have to deal with some kind of law kind of stuff too. Try to cover it up as well.
I thought there was going to be a little bit more of the elements getting to them. Like we had Jackie dying from the elements. We had that the run in with the wolves. Um, but I think the wolves might be something prominent throughout the show. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure like season 2 is gonna touch on all that more. They're gonna have to deal with wolves and whatever else is out there, snow, all that good stuff.
Yeah, if they had Lottie there, they probably would have been protected. They probably all would have just the wolves would have just stopped and just stared at them and let themselves die. What about with Shauna? Do you think she's going to get caught with the whole Adam thing?
Probably, honestly. At the very least, it's gonna come back to her in some way because their daughter's already suspicious because she saw the dude.
That's right. Yeah, when they're watching the news, huh?
Mm,
Yeah, and she has that realization, like, oh shit, I think my mom has something to do with this.
hmm.
Ugh. But that is right. They do show that he's missing. So um, I guess her having troubles looking for him, it's probably just a one-off. Because it actually shows that he is somebody. Not just some random.
Yep, they have to deal with the fact that they killed an innocent person, so and disposed of his
Yeah, right.
body.
Yeah, right. So I don't really know if he could be part of the cult. Never mind that my theory might be wrong.
Well, hopefully we won't have to wait too long to find out. Like, hopefully we'll get season 2 relatively soon.
Yeah, I think they said that by the end of this year, it's going to be around the same time as the release of season one.
Okay,
Um,
well that's less than a year, so we'll find
yeah,
out soon.
yeah, right. But I think overall this show was excellent. Like
Absolutely.
the way they were able to have not only like the older versions but the younger versions really marry each other with the way they would talk, um, just who they were as a person was very well done. I haven't seen something do that that well in TV at all, really. A lot of people compare it to it, and even with it, I think there was some shortcomings with the adult versions. What do you
I
think?
like it chapter 2 a lot, but yeah, Yellowjackets has like a whole season to flesh it out.
Yeah, have you seen any interviews in regards to any of the actors or?
I did, yeah. I've seen a couple. I saw one. I forgot her name, but it was the actress who plays the young Misty, and she actually said that they shot all the cannibal scenes like way before the rest of the show. Like, they shot all of that like 2 years ago, and she says that she knows who the Antler Queen is, but she doesn't even know who the rest of the cannibals are. So it sounds like even the cast is pretty in the dark, just like the fans are, for the most part.
Okay. Also, there's a mystery in regards who the leader is, right?
Mm.
I
So I
just like
definitely think it's Lottie.
yeah, yeah, I think it's Lottie as well.
Pretty obvious,
Like
honestly.
like who else could it be, right?
Exactly, yeah.
What if it does end up being Tysa?
That it's possible. It could be a red herring. They're trying to set it up to look one way, and they might be planning something else.
Yeah, I don't know. And I wonder what the weird random strands of hair on the dress mean. I found that so strange. Like so weird. Maybe it's oh, what if it's their victims? They just
Jesus,
they just keep it for
that's crazy sadistic. Yeah, they really went nuts if that's the case. Like, good lord.
well, I think you would have to, right? To to
I
hunt
mean,
down one of your
I
own
mean,
and eat them.
yeah. I guess.
Oh, we didn't do Lottie's dream. She has or not a dream, but she gets baptized by Laura Lee,
Mm,
and when she's dunked underwater, she like goes down that dark corridor with the candles. So I was wondering, is that like her first what is it, like encounter with whatever is out there that really takes over? She's like lighting candles, and that's where she gets the idea to do the ritual, I think.
mm, yeah. I'm like I said, I these writers are geniuses, man. They whatever we think is going to happen, honestly, the exact opposite of that is probably what's going to happen. It's like you think you know, but you don't. Like, so all these theories, man. I'm like, oh my god. Like, I honestly have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, they said that they mapped out, I think, 5 seasons or 4 seasons.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, 5 seasons.
So I'd rather them do that than go season by season because I think
Mm,
that's how a
yeah,
show can go downhill for sure.
always have a plan, folks.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever seen Supernatural?
Oh yeah, I love Supernatural.
Yeah, Eric Kripke, he had season 1 through 5 all mapped out. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
watched after that.
yeah, I
For
saw the whole
me,
thing.
yeah, for me, it like really went downhill
Oh
after
yeah,
season
yeah.
5. Um,
Yep.
if it ended at season 5, I'd probably say Supernatural is like the best show ever.
It would definitely be up there. Yeah.
I absolutely love those first 5 seasons.
Hmm. I mean, I
But
like aspects of the remaining 10 seasons, but yeah, it's definitely not as strong.
that's crazy. Remaining 10 seasons.
It, and now
Uh,
supposedly they're doing another show. So hey.
oh, really? What's going on? What did you hear?
Oh, you didn't hear about that? Yeah, there was a lot of drama where apparently Jensen Ackles secretly started making a prequel show about the Winchester folks, like their parents. And he didn't tell Jared Padalecki about it. And they had like a spat on Twitter. Like they were kind of well, I shouldn't say that. Like, but Jared was pissed. Like on Twitter, he was like, "Hey man, I'm happy for you. I just wish that I was involved, or I wish that you had told me." Like he fucking publicly said that on Twitter, and it was a
Damn.
bad situation. It's like they didn't seem like they were very friendly towards each other at that time. But supposedly they've squashed the beef and all that. But yeah, supposedly there is a prequel show in the works that has a lot of drama behind the scenes.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yep.
Jared is known to be a hothead too. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that whole entire thing with him getting kicked out of a bar or something.
Yeah, he had that horrible mugshot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oof.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
I wouldn't want to get on his bad side.
Yeah. Definitely not.
But hey, I'd definitely be into that. I think it just depends on who they cast.
Well, they're still in the very, very early stages, so it might be a little while.
Oh, okay, it's very early stages.
Hmm.
Okay, I see. But yeah, back to Yellow Jackets. So we recapped everything. We went over our theories. Yeah, I'm super excited to see where they decide to take this show.
Can't
I'm
wait.
Yeah, I'm really wondering what happens. How
Yeah.
did they get to this point?
Yep. Exactly. How did they get to this point? So intrigued to find out.
All right. Okay, Jared. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this recap and talking about our thoughts on Yellow Jackets.
Of
Let
course.
everyone know where they could find you and what you have in store.
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Jared Talk Cinema. That's also where you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is actually a little bit different because Jared Talk Cinema is one letter too long for a Twitter handle. So on Twitter, you can find me at You Shot My Deer, which is actually pretty relevant to the show now that I think about it. And I also have, and I also have the Only Film Fans podcast, which you can find us on pretty much any major podcast platform. And for the future, like I'm just doing a bunch of new releases, so I'll be reviewing Moonfall, Uncharted, Texas Chainsaw, a bunch of stuff. Whatever's coming out next
Yeah.
month, I'll review most of those movies. But those are some of the ones you can expect coming up.
Okay, great. I can't wait to see what your thoughts are on Texas.
Yep, Texas,
I think I'm going to be getting that screener next week.
awesome. Yeah, I hope so. That'd be awesome.
So I'm excited to see that, but also tentative. But,
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm definitely a little nervous about it.
yeah. But yeah, you guys check out Jared Talk Cinema. He has a great channel, and he's getting back to the swing of things. So show him some love. Anyways, I appreciate all of you for checking out this little podcast that we did here for Yellow Jackets. Really enjoyed talking with Jared, and hopefully we could chop it up later. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, you guys, and take care.